Just back from the Carnival Celebration. Fresh on our minds, we wanted to give you an honest review. This was our first time on that ship and Excel class. So much different, I feel like. This holds about 5,500 passengers, so she's big. She is big. Very different experience from other ships that you might have been on, different classes. So we're gonna sum it up for you.
Embarkation, we'll start at the beginning. Embarkation went smooth.
I felt like it was very, very smooth.
We cruised out of the port of Miami. We stayed out on South Beach, and we breezed right in and
straight onto the boat.
Straight into the boat. We were faster to the fun because of our status. That went slick. Put our stuff in our room. Went up and got our Guy's Burger.
Have to do that.
And got on with our cruise. A lot of people.
There are a lot of people, and you would think because it's a huge ship that I felt like it was well done for the amount of people. However, it is that you're never alone. Like there are always people everywhere.
I thought it felt crowded. You know, deck chairs on a ship are always controversial. Can you save them, not save them? We've got some content coming up about that and people saving chairs for hours before they get into them. Hard to find a deck seat. If you weren't up there by 9 o'clock, you weren't
getting one.
Getting a deck seat.
One day we got up there late. It was probably like right around noon, maybe a little before. And we walked around for about 45 minutes and were unable to get a chair on any deck, anywhere. And there are tons. Even on like deck 8, there's chairs everywhere. There's seating everywhere, and we could not find a single one.
And some of the seating was nicer seating, padded chairs,
nice.
Couches, things like that. A little bit higher end seating than on a lot of ships. The ship was beautiful.
Yes, very nice.
Very well
put together and very modern feel. Crisp, new.
It wasn't gaudy like some of the older ships. Some of the older ships, it's like, oh my gosh, who designed this? A 1970s discotheque? I mean, some of them are pretty wild. This one was pretty just beautiful.
The lounging, like he said, tons of different seating options, not just your typical lounge chairs. There was a lot of different seating options if you could find one.
Food, typical Carnival fare, although there's a lot more things on these ships. We tried the chibang. That was
really good.
The main courses I felt like lacked.
Just do appetizers.
The apps were fantastic. They had nachos that were really good. And then the Italian restaurant, it was good.
It was good. The Italian. Good. And what's nice is that on these ships, you can go for your first time for free with each sailing. And then after that, it's only $8 if you want to go there again. So that was a nice alternative to just the main dining room.
Street eats. We stopped in there several times and got some of the complimentary street eats, which were good. Nice little snack to grab something different. On the breakfast buffet, there was different stuff there than we've seen on ships before. They had a cappuccino muffin that was it was pretty good.
Some different breakfast sandwiches and different things. The buffet typically was about what you normally have.
They had tater tots.
They did have tater tots.
I'm pretty simple. I like tater tots,
embarkation was great. Lounging, if you get there early and get something, they had tons of different seating options.
And different new bars.
Yes.
They had the Alchemy bar, which is a standard favorite of anybody that consumes alcohol. They've got some great beverages and stuff. They had the 820, they had Latitude, they had
the Golden Jubilee. Those, and they all had their signature drinks. So it gave you the key lime pie was good.
And that was at 820.
Yes.
Key lime pie was.
Latitudes has some awesome drinks.
The Sakura,
and then there were
and they put a bubble on it, and then you sprinkle some
rose petals on it, and it pops. So different experiences to go to, and different bars that had really cool drinks. So that was nice. That was something different that you don't typically get on all their other ships. So different things to try and do. However, again, it's crowded.
Entertainment. They did the same show multiple nights, which I felt it left you with a hole in the evening. There was no entertainment. The circus show in particular was a great show.
It was wonderful.
They did it 2 different nights, which left a gaping hole in one night. it would have been better, I think, to have a different show that night.
Yeah, variants. And then they also did the Celestial Strings. They do that 2 nights. So, you're on a week-long cruise. Well, you go and see it once, then both of them. Then you have 2 nights that you have to find something else to do. And getting into comedy is rough unless it's in the big lounge, which they do towards the end of the week. So that was nice. That was easy to get into. But there's so many people that getting seats for these things is very hard. And even for the shows in the huge atrium, the big lobby, you needed to get there about an hour and a half before it started to get a seat.
Or you wouldn't get,
get one.
Even karaoke was standing room only several of the nights that we were there. Piano bar, forget it. If you weren't in there, you weren't getting in.
Golden Jubilee had violin players that were doing different things that we wanted to see several times. And on our 2-week cruise, we were never able to get in there.
You don't get to places early. That's one. I feel like that's a bad thing about the big ships, is that if there's a venue that's popular, you're never getting unless you stand there half the day. Other than that, it was a great trip and no complaints. Just that you have to wait, and I still prefer like Spirit class.
Yeah,
I think Conquest class. I like a smaller ship. I feel like it was better. Tons of kids on this ship.
Tons.
Lots of kids, which kids typically don't bother me. Most of the children, or the kids, I should say, kids under 18, most of them were pretty well behaved. You know, I walk around and give them ducks and stuff. That doesn't really bother me, but there was a lot of them.
There were a ton of kids.
Which then they bogart the hot tub at the main area. So it's just like, hey, you just don't get in that hot tub. You just avoid it. But there was just a commentary. There was a lot of kids.
And we heard that from so many people that cruise regularly like we do, that this seemed like a lot of kids.
The Fun Squad, probably one of the better Fun Squads we had. Joey Boyles, right? Boys. Joey Boyes was the cruise director, and he did a better than average job. I wouldn't say he's the best I've ever seen, but he was better than average. And the Fun Squad was really energetic.
They were, yeah.
They were really involved in everything. I felt like the Fun Squad, especially Diego, he did a great job, and Shar. The Fun Squad was on it.
Yeah,
and they seemed a lot. They seemed to be a little bit more chipper than on some. I mean, they're always excited, but these guys were like excited times 2.
And they stopped and actually interacted with people on a regular basis. Every event that was held, they were actually talking to passengers, which is nice because a lot of times I don't feel like they really do that.
But great cruise, debarkation. You're in Miami. There's 6, 7, 8, 10 ships there.
Yeah. As far as getting off the ship, though, I felt like they ran it very smoothly. It went wonderful. Yeah.
For being a big ship, the way that they disembark, it really was pretty slick. But then you get out into the port.
And that's terrible.
Ubers are tough to come by. You got to wait, and it's a lot of traffic. But I mean, for how many ships they have in there, I feel like it goes pretty good. But
another thing on this this Excel class is that your normal promenade, being on 5 and everything's on this straight shot. On this one, it's 6, 7, and 8. 6,
7, 8.
And so it's very confusing, and it took us a while, and I still don't know that we got it completely down, but you have to relearn where things are.
Yeah, guest services was on the aft of the ship on deck 8, so it was in a different location.
And because there's food options, typical daily food options on those decks, whereas normally it'd be up on Lido or, so you have people coming down on 6, 7, and 8 in swimsuits and pajamas and different things. So it was very different. I did like so Pig and Anchor was actually they had like a restaurant inside, and then Guys was an actual indoor restaurant area, so that was nice. Red Frog was 2 decks instead of just 1, and then they had Shaq's Chicken on there. And
it was okay.
It was all right. And that was also inside to where you weren't out.
Undercover.
You were undercover for all of that. So that was nice. And then they had, again, several different options and things. I just felt like it was big. It was crowded. And I think I prefer the smaller ships.
Yeah, me too.
Lots of great points.
But hey, everybody has different likes. Give it a shot. These are just some of our thoughts. Where's your next adventure taking you?